Hi, and welcome to our Digital Culture Hub video tutorial on stencil making. I'm Steph Clarke, and I'm the Program Coordinator for the Guelph Tool Library. If you're not familiar with us, we're home to over 900 tools that can be borrowed by our members for a low yearly fee. We also host dozens of programs each year focused on sustainable living and other types of skills building. Today we're going to be making some stencils, and I'm going to show you two different methods. One that uses stuff that you can find pretty much around your house, and the other that uses some slightly fancier equipment that you can actually come and use at the Guelph Tool Library. So come along, I'll show you. For this project, you'll need some paper-backed vinyl or shelf liner, a printed or drawn silhouette, a ballpoint pen, a spoon, paintbrush, and sponge, and some fabric paint or silk screening ink. You'll also need a craft knife and a paper lint roller with a sticky backing. The first step is to trace your design onto the vinyl using the ballpoint pen. Place the vinyl underneath your silhouette and trace around it, embossing it into the image and making sure that you go all the way around so that the shape is closed. If your image has multiple pieces, you want to make sure that each piece is a closed-in shape and that there's no gaps between any of the lines. So you can see it's now embossed into the vinyl, and that's going to serve as a guide for cutting it out, which is the next step. So carefully take your craft knife and trace around that image with the fine, sharp point. You might want to get a grown-up to help you with this step. You want to make sure that you're not going through the paper backing, just through the vinyl. And then you want to just peel out the middle part of your stencil because that's where the ink is going to go when you're painting it. The next step is to take some of your sticky lint roller and cover the entire image with it. You don't want to try to use masking tape for this because it's too sticky. But you can also use transfer tape, which is a product that's specifically for making stencils. But the sticky lint roller works really well because it's not too sticky and it comes in these nice wide sheets. So you cover up your whole image, and then you're going to peel the sticker off of the paper backing so that the sticky side of the sticker is facing up. And then you'll take your fabric, your t-shirt, or whatever it is that you are putting your stencil onto, and position it where you want it. This one's just a little flag, so I'm putting it down in the corner. And smooth it out so that there's no bubbles and no lumps. So I'm taking the bottom of my paint bottle and just using it to kind of burnish the sticker down so that it's stuck really well to the fabric. And then you want to peel the transfer tape or the lint roller off of the vinyl. So what we've done here is we've taken the entire sticker and stuck it down onto the fabric all in one piece without any lumps or bumps or bubbles. So now you're ready to use your sponge or your brush to paint the stencil. The easiest way to do it is with just a little bit of paint at a time, dabbing in an up and down motion. You don't want to use like a side to side brush stroke because that could push the paint underneath the side of the stencil. So what this is helping to do is seal the stencil in place while laying down a thin coat of paint. You'll let that dry and you'll come back in about 5 to 10 minutes and do a second coat. Now, if you have access to a vinyl cutter like a Cricut or a Silhouette, you can also use that to cut out your stencil. You want to upload an image into a vinyl cutter program, remove the background, save it as a cut image, create a border around it, resize it to your needs, and follow the instructions for cutting on your machine. And then you'll remove the positive image just like you remove the middle in the hand cut. So this one is a little bit more complicated of an image. So I'm removing the border and then going in, working from the outside in and removing each layer where there's going to be paint going on. And I'm finding where I want to place it on my t-shirt, grabbing some of my transfer tape, covering the whole image. You don't want to leave any gaps because you don't want anything to get left behind. But you can use little pieces to cover up the parts that didn't get covered by the big piece. Because this image is a little bit bigger, I'm smoothing it out using just a plastic gift card and peeling it off of my backing paper. Position it in the center or wherever it is that you want your image to be, and smooth it out again with the plastic card. It's also helpful to line stretchy fabrics with a piece of cardboard. I'm just using an old Kleenex box inside of this. It helps to keep the fabric taut so that you don't get any wrinkles. And then when you're peeling off the transfer tape, you want to do it in sort of smaller sections so that you can stay close to the plastic part and get it really smooth. So doing the same up and down motion with the fabric paint and just working in small sections. And this is the second coat here after the first coat has dried. This took a few coats because red ink kind of has a hard time covering over dark colors. If I had done black over white, it probably would have only taken 2 coats, but this actually ended up taking 3 and still had kind of a vintage look to it, which was kind of cool because I like vintage. But if you're looking for something more opaque, it might take more coats, depending on the type of paint you use. You can get fabric paint or silk screening ink at most art supply stores and craft stores. So I'm adding on a second coat to my first image and letting both of those dry. It'll take about 10 minutes. The last step is to peel off the stencil. You want to make sure it's completely dry before you do that. That single piece stencil peels off nice and easy. And these ones are a little bit more complicated, and you might need to use your craft knife again to lift out the interior parts of the sticker. And once your sticker is off, you want to let everything dry for about 24 hours and then do something called curing, which is using your iron or the heat from your dryer to heat set the ink so that it doesn't wash off or crack. Enjoy!